to Quantum Arts. My name is Jules, or Julesy in this case.
I'm Ursi.
And I'm Marcy.
We're all here together again. Yay!
Yay!
And we got YouTube to work. Hello,
We
YouTube
do.
Live.
Hi.
We do. I should line myself up
You gotta
better.
go that way.
I gotta go this way. There we go.
I think.
There we go. Is that a
Knock
little
your
better?
stuff over.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think that. Yeah. Yeah.
so just to give you a little insight, what's happening today in just a couple minutes is that we actually get to talk to each other about our musical, well, not just musical, our artistic journeys. We're going to talk about things that have been happening. Before we do that, we're definitely going to do what we typically do and shout out things that are coming up. Let's see. So there is an opera and pasta tonight. Yours truly singing, Kai Etienne at the keys. A special shout out to Chris and Mia, who have been letting us borrow their keyboard recently because ours was having a fun time, and I still need to get it down to a place in Kenosha to go get it like that. So thank you, Chris and Mia. You did not know I was going to shout you out, but I did it anyway. So
Yeah, Chris and Mia.
yes, you have saved our opera and pasta from not being able to happen to being able to happen consecutively, like it has been for almost 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. I can
You
officially.
have a big announcement.
Yes, I can officially
You
announce
finally
it.
can do it?
Yes.
Announcement.
Yes. So, drum. Yes, I have some drum rolls.
You've been teasing everybody for weeks.
I know, and I've been teased to wait, but there was good reason. So I officially can announce that not only is Brew City Opera doing I Pagliacci by Leon Cavallo, but also I get to announce that I get to have my role debut of Nedda, which is one of the lead roles. She is Pagliacci's, well, Canio's wife. So she is the one who, the lead clown man performer, is not exactly the nicest too, but this will be my first non-ingenue related role, which is extremely exciting.
That's so exciting.
Yes, I'm so excited. So that's going to be September 18th through the 20th out at Inspiration Studios. You can definitely go look up Brew, B-R-E-W, City Opera on Google or wherever you'd like to search, and you should find their website and more information about how to get tickets.
Directed by the fabulous Doug Clemens.
Who we will have on the show sometime in September. It is going to happen, Doug. If you're listening, we're making it happen when you get back.
That's right, Doug.
Right now, Doug is out at Glimmerglass in New York.
That sounds fun.
It is a pretty cool thing to be able to say that, because for those of us in the opera world, Glimmerglass is one of those things you hope you can get into as a young artist, and then it helps to catapult things. So I'm excited for Doug to have this assistant directing experience that he is out there. I think it's Fellow Travelers is the one that he's helping out with. So if you're out in New York at some point within the next couple of weeks, then go see that.
But yeah,
Yes.
come see some culture.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes, I'm very, very excited
I'm
about
so
that.
happy.
And
And it's an opera I know,
Yes,
At
almost
least I'm
everybody
aware of.
knows something of it. So if you've ever heard the Ridi Pagliaccio, it's the sad clown opera.
It's the sad
essentially.
clown opera.
Yes.
Krusty the Clown did it once.
Yes. He's sad because he's also a possessive fill in the blank. Yes, so Nedda is his wife, and you'll find out more as you come to see the show.
Yeah, don't spoil it or anything.
I'm one.
You can't let them all know.
Well,
Gotta
and
convey
fun
the
fact, I
techniques.
am on the production team of that
Yes.
show.
Are you?
I am the fight and intimacy director for
Yes.
the show. So
So we'll be working very,
I'm
very.
a cheerleader, I guess,
We
and I'll
will.
just support you both and be like,
Yes.
yay, from the sidelines.
Yes, Marcy and I will be working very closely together, both distance and otherwise.
And
yes,
be very intimate.
Yes.
Good thing you're an intimacy coordinator,
Yes,
director.
I have a lot of intimacy and fighting situations. in
yes,
the show.
yes,
Very close contact, probably.
quite a lot.
Yes. So I'm really, really excited for Marcy to also be a part of that.
It will
and-
be my first opera as well, officially.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
I
That's
wonder
cool.
how that's going to feel different
Well.
compared to everything else that you've done.
Well, I know there will be differences,
But,
but
like, what are they going to be?
It's
We're going to
just-
find out.
It's just how it seems like it'll be like how quote unquote loudly some of these intimate emotions and like fighting things are, because it's a little bit overdone even as compared to say like straight theater, but at the same time it's relatively
Oh yeah,
similar.
because
It's a
they're
difference.
belting
But-
at the same time.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, it's also making sure that you can do the things.
Right, it's a completely different
yeah.
style. And
Yeah.
in fact, there are classes within our training tracks for intimacy direction and coordination that are specifically intimacy direction for opera.
Oh, nice.
So there is a difference
Yeah.
stylistically in how you approach the different styles of performing art. So
Yes.
I like
I'm
it.
I'm really excited.
Yes. How do I not sing in my romantic partner's ear too loud while also being able to project out to everyone, while also looking intimate enough that it's convincing, but also comfortable
And
to
also
both of us?
being loud.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah,
At
I
the
actually
same-
took the class a few years ago, so I'm excited to go back and look at my notes
Oh,
because yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But yes, and then I believe that I can announce everybody else, but I will do that at the end because I don't have it pulled up. But yes, it's going to be really cool. There's some familiar faces that we've had on here. There's some not familiar faces that we have not had on here, but me and two definitely in the month of September. But I also know that Marcy has something that she definitely wants to announce.
Oh, for sure.
or
But I
to
kind of want
re-announce.
to.
go
I'd
ahead.
like to talk a little bit more about this because
Sure.
for folks that are saying, I'm not really an opera person or I've never seen an opera. I feel like this is definitely one that you should go see. As far as it being kind of a,
It's a classic.
it's
What
a
we call
classic.
Verismo,
Yeah.
It's a
So
classic.
so just for anybody who has never heard that term before, Verismo is meant to be like an opera that is to relate to the people.
Accessible.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And not that others aren't, but there are some specific ones like La Boheme, Pagliacci, and a couple others written at a time that they would call like the Verismo opera boom, essentially. I don't know if they'd call it that technically, the boom part, but
When
but-
it had a resurgence or when
Yes.
it
yeah.
had a surgence or a
Yes.
resurgence.
Yeah, it was more about, hey, let's make sure that these are stories that people actually can relate to, like somebody cheating on their significant other, or people trying to survive when they're artists and can barely make a cent every few months or whatever it is
Mhm.
because they're struggling, or just other things. So it's not necessarily, and no offense to Magic Flute, it's not as
No offense.
mystical. Yes,
None.
it is actually no offense to. I do love
Please.
the Magic Flute, but
Don't come at us.
you're so sassy.
Don't be
but-
throwing your flutes at us, magic or not.
Yeah, please don't.
Duck. No, but
That
but
would
there are
hurt.
some that are so much less relatable to. But this one is like you feel the like I want to escape this situation because I don't feel safe anymore, and the like I love this person, but I also am torn because of this other thing, because this is all I've known, and so it's just beautiful to be able to express something that I would say a good amount of people do somewhat relate to through their life experiences, especially as adults, in some way. But even just for the chorus stuff, it's really fun how they react to everything.
Well, and there are going to be things that they hear musically that they recognize
Exactly.
that have become either a part of pop
It's just
culture or
pop culture,
just culture,
I think,
yeah.
at this point.
so. It's sort of a classic.
Mhm.
It's something you should see.
Yep.
It's not done that often. When was the last time it was done here in Milwaukee? I don't know because
I
I'm
don't. I have no idea. I do not have the history of
don't
Florentine or any of those.
Right.
This has probably been a
Like a
long time.
month ago,
But-
or like
No, years and years.
So
Um,
I mean, I'm saying like, hey,
yeah.
like definitely check it out and check and also be able to see an opera in a small space is also going to be kind of interesting. So Inspiration Studios is not a large
exactly.
venue.
Oh, you
No,
don't
you
need
maybe
opera
have 40.
classes.
You
It's
maybe
gonna be great.
it probably seats about 40 people, and to have been in the opera chorus, which was at least 40 people large, out in Opera Colorado doing Pagliacci. It was the first professional opera that I did outside of Milwaukee Opera Theater that I can recall. But it was right before COVID, so it really impressed on me in a different way. So being in the chorus of it and now being able to sing Nedda is a very different feeling for sure. But to pare down the chorus to maybe like 4 or 5 people is going to be really, really interesting. But I love the concept that I will not talk about, but I know a little bit of that Doug has for the show and how it's going to keep the audience not just entertained but involved.
Yeah, it's a very intimate setting, so it brings.
Yeah.
I think anytime you see a production in an intimate space, it brings another level of
You can
the
feel it more.
visceral. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You are in the room with them. Like it feels literally just in a room, not a theater.
Yep,
Just
exactly. You're actually experiencing the feelings because you're within breathable space of them sometimes.
Yeah, so I think
But
that will be
all the facial reactions.
Every
and the
beat of
details
sweat.
of
Yes,
the
you might be spat
sets.
on.
you might be spat on. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Not
that's
intentionally, but
opera. If you
yes.
didn't bring, if you
If
didn't
you didn't
bring a
bring your
poncho,
windshield wipers.
Yeah.
Um,
But I just
No,
think
you
it's a
weren't
really
planning
cool
ahead.
experience for folks that haven't seen it, or even if they are saying, I don't know if I really like opera. Definitely go check this out. It's a classic. You're going to recognize. You're going to recognize
You're
some
gonna
of the
recognize
music
Jules, if anything.
for
Maybe.
sure.
If you're fans of this show, I hope you
Sure.
would.
Yeah. So definitely. I mean, I think definitely go check it out. Like,
What's the dates again for it?
It is September 18th through the 20th.
Yes, I'm not working
It is
on
at
I can
Inspiration Studios, and now I do have the list of people, and I am absolutely possibly going to butcher the first person on the list. So I am so sorry if I get this wrong. But Tonyo, who is one of the other clowns who opens the thing, is Adlai Kim. I'm so sorry if I'm saying your first name wrong. Then Kanyo, who is Pagliacci, Pagliaccio, because Pagliacci is a group of clowns. But Kanyo is Joseph McBrayer. Then me as Neda. Silvio is going to be Ryan White, who I believe we've had on the show a long time ago when Dewey was still with it. And then Beppe is going to be Edson Melendez, who we've definitely had on when Dewey was on before. So definitely come see that. We will have the chorus announced very soon as well, but I will make sure to announce that the next time. I will be announcing this pretty much every time that we have the show.
and
So-
Edson is the artistic director of Brew City Opera as well. So
Yep.
pulling double duty there,
Yes.
performer and producing artistic director. So I just think it's really cool. And do you think that the last time you did this opera,
Mhm.
right? You were in the chorus. You
Yes.
said, right?
About 7 years ago. Yeah.
What about your life experience between Jules then and Jules now?
Oh,
Or Jules Z, because we're
Yeah.
all
Yes.
the
you're
E's
Jules
together.
Z
You're
now.
Jules
Yes.
Z
That's
today.
one of the big
Yes.
changes.
Yeah.
I have updated my name.
What about Jules then and Jules now? Would you have been able to play this character 7 years ago? I mean, obviously the answer is yes. Like, technically you can sing it. But what about you as a person
True.
makes this the right point in your artistic journey to take her on?
You're a mother
Well,
now too. Does
I,
that help at
I had to
all?
adjust the
And-
mic to answer this question. I'm glad you asked. I actually watched a video of myself singing something for an online summer program while COVID was going on, and just not seeing nearly as much emotion in it. I was like, wow, this is pretty stale. I understand why I wasn't getting a lot of things even over COVID. But especially since going through COVID and feeling a lot more emotions and going through a lot more life circumstances that I never thought I was going to, where, I mean, full transparency, just like had been told at one point by somebody that they didn't respect me as a human being, and like those sorts of things, how they impress on you, and then also becoming a mother, I feel emotions more because I have the space to do it in. And I think that took going through a lot of gaslighting and people misunderstanding a lot over COVID, because everybody was misunderstanding a lot over COVID. And just having emotions come out that I had never experienced before, especially to play Neda. I'm going to give a little bit of a synopsis just to make this make the most sense. So Kanyo, who plays Pagliaccio, he is the lead. He is the head of the performing troupe that is going to perform for this community, and he has been relatively emotionally probably abusive towards Neda as long as they've been together, and she was somebody who he found down and out, like didn't have anything, brought her into his life, loved her, but then it got to a point where he started being a lot more like possessive and gaslighting a lot and just not letting her have her personal freedom, which, I mean, at that point in time, you could possibly say that that was not normal at that time. The men had a lot more control over what the women did, how they dressed, what they said, when they talked.
And what is the time period that it is set in when you say at that time?
1980.
I would think
2024?
Yes.
like
2026.
like late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay.
Depending on when it's being set in, but at least like understanding that even today there are still certain places where it's understood that the woman is the possession of the man.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the part that like I really had some like it doesn't sit right kind of things, like watching it for the first time. I'm like, oh, I don't like this. But having to figure out how to continue to be oneself in the midst of when people misinterpreted it, and like not necessarily having been in a possessive relationship, but having definitely been in a situation where somebody was gaslighting a little bit and like pointing out the flaws on me versus themselves, and like sort of like Kanyo doesn't lie in the show, but like this person like kind of lied to make sure that they benefited from something. So like it's this, because I am in charge of you and you're my love and like you're my wife, like I'm going to take possession of you and make sure that you do what I want, even though like you were on your own before. So having Neda have this want for freedom and then finding it in a certain way, but then like how it's questioned and what happens after Kanyo discovers some things, and how the chorus reacts to these things that they don't know are going on in the second half. It's just it's very different looking at it having been in the chorus before. A lot of those crazy life things happened, and then even just postpartum and trying to find oneself after postpartum, I think is completely different. I would never have imagined what that felt like had I not experienced it. And even just like, what do I look like as a person post having a child? Like, what do I want out of these next several years without necessarily like trying to plan it out, if that makes sense? Like, what kind of emotional freedom do I need to be able to function? I think is where I relate to Neda, other than those like emotional things that had happened. But I'm grateful to say that I personally have not been in that kind of possessive relationship that Kanyo was to Neda, but I can definitely glean some of those other experiences in a way where I feel like now I have the ability to be believed that on stage this is happening. Even like when we did Magic Flute with Bruce City Opera a year or two ago, I felt like I had more emotions to work with because I'd been through more, if that makes sense. I feel like we're better actors when we go through life more. But
No,
at
I
the
think
same
that's definitely relatable. Like
Yeah.
as you gain life experience and experience things on your own or through friends or others.
Yeah.
Much simple, easier to emulate it after you've gone through it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still that safe space to separate oneself from it too, which is nice, having
Absolutely.
like intimacy coordination and fight coordination. Because I mean, I remember being in my grad school, and before COVID, we had a fight coordinator who came in and was fight. It's coordinator still, right? Theater wise, or is it director?
There's different terms used
Choreographer.
all over. I've seen people use fight choreographer, fight
Okay.
director, fight coordinator.
Okay.
I've seen fight consultant.
Okay. It might
So-
have been the consultant side of that because it was just for a class. So, but there were people that had been through like certain physical activities that had happened to them that they stayed out of when we were just emulating it. And I could understand why, because they didn't want to relive those situations. So it's interesting to, I mean, have had some things in the past that I won't go into a long time ago that I could like not have to relive, but have not necessarily lived it myself, but like seen sometimes from a distance, sometimes personally experiencing it, and not have to put myself back in those shoes, if that makes sense.
Well, it absolutely does to me as an intimacy director, because I do more than just physical intimacy for productions. A lot of people think, and I know I was on the show talking about intimacy direction several weeks ago, or months, whatever it was. That's when I was like, well, I live here now, so you may as well just make me a co-host. But it's more than just physical contact, because intimacy is something that exists even without contact. But people think, oh, you're just there to choreograph sex or kissing or nudity. That is part of it, but actually the majority of shows, and I think I talked about this in Milwaukee, are what I would call quiet intimacy shows, in the sense that there's not a lot of physical intimacy that's very heightened. However, the emotional intimacy aspects are huge, and taking those character arcs and working with the director to make sure that that's woven together in a safe and repeatable way that respects the actor's boundaries, and also teaching the actors emotional regulation tools so that if their body does get activated because of a prior experience, we can teach the body, you're in a safe space. And it's really sort of, Jules, to your point, that what happens to the character is happening to the character, not to the actor. So we have certain processes where we check in and check out to make sure that we really separate those things for our mental health and well-being, because there are things that happen to characters that we portray that if we don't do that, if we don't make that separation, we don't have that healthy boundary and that way to separate, we can take those feelings and emotions with us, and those aren't ours to carry. Those belong to the character, but sometimes they mirror things we've witnessed or experienced in life, and it can be hard to separate. So that's a big part of my job is that emotional intimacy aspect. So and I think it's so important. So,
well, and considering how intense this show gets with some of those things, it's just like you're having to. I mean, I guess we're practically talking about Pagliacci this entire time.
Yeah.
But it's the amount of intense emotional and physical, like fight and intimacy that happens blatantly in front of the audience is just crazy. I mean, I'm not saying, oh my gosh, it's going to be scary. Like, I have acknowledged, because I've been in it, that I understand what happens to the characters, and like having reacted from the outside, I'm like, oh, this was easy, but at the same time, like, I could feel it because I was imagining that I was seeing it for the first time every time I was in the chorus. And I was like, we were pretending that we had kids. And so, like, I could believe it because my partner, my stage husband was extremely believable, and I felt very safe with him. So we could, like, put our arms around each other, and, like, everything would be fine. But like, when those intense moments happened, like, we weren't on stage for the really intense romantic and fight parts of it. Well, the end we were, but like, to then be in that side of it now, like, I haven't even started to really try to imagine what that looks like, because one, I don't know exactly what Doug is going to do. I know I have an idea of what he wants to do, but then getting on stage and feeling out, we're actually going to have the luxury of being able to use the same space that we're performing in as our rehearsal space.
that is nice.
Yeah, which helps my brain a lot. And this is a slight tangent, but I will be finding out on the 28th of August, so like the day after we start my rehearsals, whether I'm on the spectrum or not. So that'll be intense and possibly like an unpacking, but trying to remove that at the same time for the thing. But I mean, we'll still be going through music rehearsals at that point. So, but it's just. I could talk forever about this, because it's just, I'm so excited that we get to do it, because it's an important story to tell that a lot of people know a little bit about, but to really dive into, like, how do we interact with each other, and communicate effectively, like, when we need something from the other person, if that makes sense. But this just happens to be a very intense example of that.
It does, right? And what do we say in theater and the performing arts? When words fail, we either sing, right? When we run out of words, we sing, or we fight, or we have intimate moments. And in this case, when we run out of words, all three things are
We
happening.
put white makeup on our faces.
Or
Yeah.
we say
Yeah.
Help me, please.
Or we say words, words, words.
Yes,
So
blah, blah,
watermelon, watermelon,
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
watermelon.
Oh my goodness. Well, we have less than 5 minutes. We could talk about something else if we really want to.
Well, disaster's coming soon.
Yes.
Disaster is opening soon, and in fact, I mean, I know folks can't see it,
No,
but
no,
I mean,
we got
Here,
the
let me
cameras going.
let me
yeah,
show for
give us the
YouTube.
poster.
I
Ready?
brought our poster, which is just so fun. So
Whoa.
it's so fun.
Yeah. What camera are
There we
we?
go.
Oh, there we
Okay.
go.
Over there.
That
see
one?
it. The
There
other
you
one is
go.
like-
That's the
One
one.
of
Isn't
these.
that great?
Okay. There we
I
go.
forget that's the camera
you go.
that we're
Right.
There's
I'm like,
two
I.
cameras and we're still like
Really,
that.
you were closest to the camera. You probably could have held it.
Yeah. Right?
But yeah,
Is that?
do you mind telling us a little bit more about what Disaster is for people who haven't heard about it yet?
Yes, so this is a jukebox musical in the sense that all of the music is existing songs from the 70s that we are singing as part of the plot of the show. The lyrics aren't changing. These are songs you know. Hot Stuff, Saturday Night.
And this is like also like a musical parody,
It-
essentially.
it-
of
it
all
is,
those
so
movies,
it's-
The
right?
leg song.
It is a it's a campy, over-the-top comedy. It was written by Seth Rudetsky. So if you know Seth Rudetsky of SiriusXM fame, so it was Seth Rudetsky and Jack Plotnick, and they put this together, and it's a parody or a spoof of the 70s disaster movies. Mainly the Poseidon Adventure is what it's a spoof of. So what's happening in Disaster is folks are on a floating casino,
Of course.
and
It's the 70s. What else are you gonna be doing?
right, they're on a floating casino, and there's a disaster expert that sneaks onto the ship to warn people about something that's going to happen. It of course happens, and so the comedy sort of ensues. But it's all of these songs that you know and love, whether you grew up in the 70s or not. You know these songs. I Will Survive. Come on, everybody knows that.
Is there an ABBA song or two in there?
There is not an.
Well, I guess Mamma Mia stole them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not an. You're right. They're all in Mamma Mia.
Like, that's so 70s.
They're only ours. You can't have them.
So, and there is a mega mix at the end, so audiences will
Oh,
get
heck
to
yeah.
sing along and have fun and dance out of their seats. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but now you know.
Spoiler.
But it's just campy, over the top. All of the characters are meant to be completely exaggerated. I play Shirley Summers, a woman who is on the casino celebrating her husband's retirement, and she's from Jersey, and she talks like this. So her husband's name is Maury. Yeah.
Maury.
That's
Oh,
cute.
Maury.
That's
Yeah.
so cute.
So it's a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun
Maury,
rehearsing.
The boat's sinking, Maury.
Yeah.
A lot
man.
of that.
Well, we definitely need to hear more about that on the next episode as well. But we will be going back to having guests at least for the next several times. I think we're booked through August at this point. But thank you again for both of you for asking the questions. Thank you for telling us more about Disaster. Thank you to everyone who's been listening today. We are WXRW River West Radio, 104.1 FM. You will hear us at 4:30 every Wednesday. So definitely come back, check us out, and thank you for YouTube. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Talk to you next week.
See ya. Wait, my makeup tutorial.